So currently in my D&D campaign, there's a complex series of events that is happening throughout many cities. But the players are too focused on their own adventure to worry about everything in the outside world. So how will I bring them up to speed? Well, you watch the news. Because in the modern day, we have so much access to all of the news practically everywhere in the world. If I lived in Canada and I wanted to find the news, let's say in Australia, it's a quick Google search away and I could probably find it. But in a high fantasy world, things act a little bit differently. You expect in a high fantasy world that the news is a little bit more local, it's a little bit more limited, but it is still a way to express the news to your players without having to RP many events from like second sources. For example, if I lived in one city, then I know the news that's happening in another city, or maybe an entire empire. And if I was an adventurer and I've been stuck in the woods for like 3 weeks for God knows what reason, then I have a way to either A, talk to a town crier, or read the local newspaper. I think a great example of this is in an anime known as One Piece. And if you don't know what One Piece is, or you don't watch anime, then One Piece is an adventure where a pirate crew travels to many different islands and goes on adventures, fight enemies. Sound familiar? I think so. Well, in One Piece, there are these seagulls that deliver the news from Big News Morgan, this overarching narrative that's been broadcasted to the entire world, where most of the citizens, just the regular everyday people who aren't pirates, know what the heck is going on in the world, and especially in parts unknown. And when our main party, the Straw Hat Pirates, for example, in this One Piece scenario, when they make the news, the whole entire world is accepting or having some sort of reaction to the party, and it adds that bit of notoriety to your party's ego, basically. So right now, my players have just completed an arc where they were fighting against Starspawn that crash landed from outer space, and recently completed a huge arc. And using this method, the players now have an idea of what's happening outside of the world, why are things happening the way in town than before, and frankly, I think it speeds up a lot of the narrative. So even though my players have made the news, they still don't want to be heroes, so the city guard became heroes instead, and you be sure to check that out in this video over here because it is a very ridiculous story.